Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about how threaded discussion have an impact on learners' learning experience. Threaded discussion, often used in online learning and communication platforms, is a structured method for facilitating conversations and interaction among participants. In threaded discussions, conversations are organized into individual threads or topics. Each contain a series of related messages or posts. Participants can respond to the initial post or to other messages within a thread, allowing for branching and hierarchical structure of conversations. This format promotes organized and focused discussions, making it easier for users to follow and contribute to specific topics or subtopics within a large conversation. Threaded discussions are commonly utilized in online courses, forums, and collaborative platforms to facilitate in-depth, asynchronous communication. However, in implementing such method, some issues are addressed. First and foremost, there is a concern that during the process, low-achieving students might not contribute as effectively as their higher-achieved peers. This concern arises from the fact that, compared to the face-to-face discussion, engaging in thread discussion entails a more complex learning process. This process includes reading others' posting, contemplating a thoughtful response, composing a response, and subsequently revising the discussion to take into account others' contribution and so on. This requires more advanced skills. It's not an infrequent comment from students. Another issue being addressed is the potential for information overload, as online discussion can generate a high volume of text-based context, with participants continuously posting message and reply in a text format. This information can quickly become overwhelming, particularly within a context of large or highly active discussion groups. Moreover, compared to a face-to-face discussion, the absence of some social cues such as facial expression and body language exacerbates challenges in comprehension. According to cognitive perspective, the lack of nonverbal cues imposes an extraneous cognitive load in participants. In other words, individuals must work harder to understand the meaning behind the text, making comprehension more demanding. Alright, after considering the points made above, we might be inclined to think that threaded discussions aren't all that great. But is that the whole truth? Despite the potential for the issue mentioned above, it's important to remember that things are not absolute. Now, let's try to reconsider this issue from another perspective. First of all, can lower achievers really not contribute more in threaded discussion? Well, let's take a real case to see what is actually going on. In a study conducted in 2019, researchers compared the different impact of face-to-face discussion and threaded discussion. In this study, researchers firstly compared the depths of interaction between the same group of people in threaded discussion and face-to-face discussions during the course. It's evident that while face-to-face discussion initially engage in deeper interaction most quickly than online discussion, but both methods eventually achieve a sufficient level of interaction. In addition, researchers also examined the patterns of interaction among participants, representing this data graphically. The noted represent the participants, while line and arrow directions represent their relationship and flow of information. These three diagrams illustrate that online discussion may not necessarily expedite the discussion to a higher level more quickly, but they certainly increase the possibility of individual learning by enabling more active participation for each individual. In face-to-face discussion, low achievers inevitably seem to struggle to keep up and express their views. However, in online discussion, no single participant dominates the center stage, allowing for a more equitable distribution of interaction. On the other hand, face-to-face discussion occasionally witness a degree of pseudo-participation, where some individuals may appear engaged but contribute minimally to the conversation. Therefore, threaded discussion presented in written form on the screen makes each person's viewpoint more intuitively expressed, and facilitates one-on-one or one-to-many assistance to some extent, aiding lower achievers. We cannot deny that body movement and facial expression indeed facilitate a faster communication, but is speed always a good thing? In fact, an important need for many students is the opportunity to think and organize their thoughts before speaking. Online discussion provides them with this slowly composed and meaningful dialogue. Furthermore, reflection time is a significant advantage. In face-to-face discussion, the time left for participants to reflect is quite limited, which means they cannot engage in discussion effectively or consistently enough. Once again, threaded discussion provided participants with enough time. One of the crucial experiences learners need to go through in a discussion is exploring and integrating information. For those students who require time to think before responding, threaded discussion offers them more opportunities. Anyway, online discussion seems to have their limitation and cannot entirely replace face-to-face discussion, but both of them have their own advantages. Setting them up correctly in the course will result in a more effective educational outcome. That is all for my sharing. Thank you for listening.